The Toronto Raptors very much are tanking, and there's still 16 games more to endure this season before we see what their odds are for the lottery, where there are no guarantees. So what's the head state of the Raptors fan base at the moment, and how are we handling things? Let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody. This is Amateur Sports, the YouTube channel dedicated to Toronto Raptors content and videos like this and live streams on the channel. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video along the way. Make sure you're subscribed for more Raptors content throughout the rest of this godforsaken regular season and beyond. Tons of great draft coverage coming at you in the summer. But today's video, just kind of wanted to open up about how I'm handling this current situation for the Raptors, because in the recent videos from myself, I think the message that I've been portraying has been extremely conflicting, where it's just like, well, we're pulling out our starters in the last 5 minutes of the clutch. That feels a little embarrassing. And then we still win the game against the Orlando Magic. And then I'm watching them play the Jazz. I'm watching them play the Wizards. I just watched them beat the Philadelphia 76ers in a game which I said on this channel numerous times, a game they had to lose, but they ended up winning. They ended up winning pretty comfortably in the end. And after watching those games against other fellow tanking teams, I was like, man, like, you know, the Jazz game, after getting mad about the Raptors, kind of not mad, but just like, you know, bringing it up as a little bit of an embarrassment to take out your good players for the clutch of a game. I was watching the Jazz game thinking, man, get these players off the court. Like Barnes, quickly, Barrett, get these guys off the court. We need to lose this game. And it's just such an uncomfortable position to be as a fan. But yeah, like from the Orlando game, it was just kind of embarrassing to watch that unfold. But it really settled in after those games against the Magic. Like, yeah, this is like really what we have to do. This is the reality of the season. We really do need to focus on the tank. But I want to try and dig into my mindset about the team at the moment and where I'm at there, because it's just been a very difficult season to process for the Raptors. You know, out the gates, I said this was a team that was going to try and win as many games as possible. And then at the trade deadline or in and around February, they're going to make a decision of what their season is going to be. If they win enough games, yeah, they'll fight for a playoff spot, a play-in tournament spot. If they don't have enough wins, and they didn't, maybe because they weren't very healthy to start the season, they were going to focus on the tank. But I think the issue is this season with it. This is the reason why I didn't have as big of a problem watching these games as I did last season or in the Tampa season. I think the big thing about this season is there's just so many really bad teams, and there are so many teams that are tanking, and the Raptors are playing all of them in like this month-and-a-half window here to end the season. I think that's why it's hitting a little bit harder this season. I think that's why it's making it more difficult, because I'm really, really struggling with these games. Like, I'm really, really struggling to find enjoyment out of it. And I've continued to say over the years, like, even if a team is tanking, you know, you've got these young players coming in, you can watch and see their development and see all that. And to a certain extent, yeah, but, you know, it gets to a certain point as well where, like, the guys who are playing, like, are a lot of these guys going to be Raptors next season? I think Jared Rhoden and AJ Lawson are making really good names for themselves right now. They've been certainly impressive for the Raptors, and the reason they're winning these games, I think, largely is down to them, how they're playing, and especially the three-point shooting that they're bringing. Because against these other tanking teams, these teams aren't making threes. Like, we are just outpacing the other teams as far as scoring is concerned. And a large reason is Rhoden. A large reason is Lawson. But, like, the tank got so bad against the 76ers that, you know, Jamal Shed, one of the young guys who you would look forward to seeing play, Jamal Shed played 12 minutes. He didn't come back in the second half. He wasn't injured. It was a decision for the tank to sit Jamal Shed in the second half. Like, we can't even play a guy who started the season, in theory, as our third-choice point guard. We're so deep and embroiled within the tank that we couldn't even play him in the second half against the Philadelphia 76ers. In a game the Raptors, in the end, again, they comfortably won. So, you know, the guys you really want to see, like Walter, like Shed, like Walter's injured, but I think even he may have come out of some of that game. Jamal Shed comes out of that game. And I'm not complaining here that, like, I'm not complaining about the tank. I'm firmly, like, insistent that this is the right way to do it. I saw the line against the 76ers. Colin Castleton started that game. With all due respect, like, Colin freaking Castleton started that game. Barnes, Barrett, and Quickly all sat out. Pirtle started but only played 17 minutes. Like, there was nothing else the Raptors could have done, really, realistically, for that game. They just were the better team in the game. It is what it is. They were just a better team. It's upsetting that they won that game. I know, it's weird. but they really didn't do anything. Like, they really couldn't have done realistically anything else to try and lose that game. And yeah, it just makes these games really tough to watch. And this is my copium here. This is my forum for cope on proceedings here, because I'm just in a state right now where these games are really, really difficult to get through at the moment. And thank goodness that, we've got the streams here on this channel. I still do watch longs for most Raptors games. We're going to hit around 70 watch parties out of 82 games on the season. We'll probably come up just short on 70, but definitely would have hit 70 if the team was more enjoyable to watch. I still enjoy the streams. I still enjoy the company, hanging out with so many amazing people that I've met in this community through those streams. They're still enjoyable in that respect, but just sitting through 3 hours of this game where there's all these guys who, like, Colin Castleton's not going to be a Raptor next year. Watching these guys that are not going to be playing for the team next year, playing these games that are meaningful for them, and I respect it for them. They've got to earn their contracts for next season. They've got to earn their NBA careers, and I respect that. But just watching these games, and from the moment the game starts, I am prepared to. My desire is to see them lose. I am trying to find ways and conceive these hypothetical situations of how they're going to lose these games, how the 76ers are going to come back in this game, and it's just such a negative spot to be in. But like if you're not, like, the people who aren't streaming or consuming this content here for these games, like how are people watching these? How are people watching these games? I don't know. It's tough. I wonder what position I would be in right now if I wasn't in a position where I was streaming. Like, would I be going out of my way to watch these games? Because, if you don't know, YouTube is not my job. This is supplemental to my 9. We'll call it my 9 to 5. I work sometimes differing hours to 9 to 5, but my 40-hour a week job, my full-time job that I have that funds my livelihood living in downtown Toronto. This is on top of that. So, a lot of time has to go in outside of those work hours, those main work hours, for this content. And I enjoy it. I love doing this. I love this channel. I love the community that it has grown here. But, I really do wonder, outside of the content, like, if, what would be my mindset here with all this time I'm consuming, like 3 hours watching the Raptors. Like, I don't get a lot of free time during the week. Is this 3 hour window where the Raptors are in an ultimate game of shame, tank showdown against the 76ers? Is that how I want to spend, a night I could have off and maybe be doing something else? I don't know. I don't really know what the purpose of this video is. I don't really know what I'm trying to get across here. I'm just trying to clear my thoughts and explain to everybody in this amazing community here of 18,240 plus amateur army community members. I'm just trying to convey where my head is at right now with this team. I want them to lose all their games. It sucks. I don't know how some fan bases do this on a year-to-year basis. Like the Raptors, we've had 5 of these in the last three of these in the last 5 seasons, excuse me. We did this last season, but even last season, even watched them lose 15 games in a row, get completely blown out in so many games in the end of the season. I don't know how I managed to tolerate that more than them winning a bunch of games right now near the end of the season. There were guys that were playing last year, like Jamias Ramsey, Tronte Porter. These guys were playing last season. So, I don't know what it is about this season that's really kind of, turning me off of enjoyment of these games. But, I just know that we have to endure. We have to fight through. We have to accept it. We're going to grind through this, and we're going to get a solid draft pick. Will that draft pick be the 8th overall pick now? It seems like that is the likeliest outcome. The 76ers are outdoing us. The Nets are outdoing us. We've got an easy schedule. Kind of feels like that's where we're going to be around. I think we'll have the 7th worst record in the NBA. I don't think we'll win too many and catch the Bulls and make the play-in tournament. God forbid. I don't think we'll be making the play-in tournament or anything, but we'll get a good player. We'll bring that player in. We'll have, hopefully, a fresh start. Brandon Ingram's going to play some games, because at this point, there's no reason to play Brandon Ingram this season. Brandon Ingram's will be back next year. We'll have Barnes. We'll have Quickly. Probably think we'll still have Barrett at that point. I made a video talking about how the Raptors should trade RJ Barrett in the summer. I stand by that. However, I didn't go into enough on, like, I'm not just saying just trade him for the sake of trading him. Like, if you find look for a good trade. If you find one, trade him. If not, trade him. Don't trade him, excuse me, and just see what happens with the team. So I think Barrett will be here. Quickly will be here. Barnes will be here. Ingram will be here. Pirtle will be here. We'll be able to cheer for wins again, and there'll be exciting basketball back in Toronto. How far that team can go, we shall see. But right now, I think what's keeping me sane with all this, that should be a playoff team next year. And if it isn't, something has gone terribly wrong. So we'll fight through the rest of the season. We'll see what happens. And whatever does happen, we'll cover it right here on Amateur Hour Sports.